Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Goddess Giselle, and today is a little different for my channel. I'm going to actually be sharing a story time with you. But if you're new here, I am Goddess Giselle, and I created this space to really create a safe space for women making an impact in their communities. I feel like when we share the stories of women, we could truly change the world. And so I created this space to do just that. So thank you so much for being here and welcome to my podcast. Now, like I said, today is a little different. This is episode 7, and we're going to be doing a story time with me. So I decided to do this really to just check in on y'all, see how y'all are doing, but also to share a little bit more about me. And to give you guys a recap of a fun little story time that I actually experienced in real life. So I decided to share it with you guys because I love y'all. Okay. So, first of all, let me just give a disclaimer. I am a little bit tired, okay, because I was partying and outside literally all weekend, and it was so much fun. But as you can tell, I'm a little because I was literally outside in the grass for an entire day because I attended Alabama A&M's homecoming celebration 2024. And it was so much fun. And y'all, I'm going to give you guys the full rundown. But before I do that, again, welcome to the Goddess Giselle podcast. This is episode 7. And if you're new here, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. So, anyway, I decided to attend the Alabama A&M Homecoming 2024 because honestly, y'all, I just really missed my people. I'm originally from Huntsville, Alabama, and if you've been watching this channel, you know that by now. And I really just have not had the mind space or even time, honestly, to go back home and just say, hey, right? And I feel like ever since the penny, things have just been different. It's just been a lot of changes going on the planet, which if you watch this channel, I call it the new earth. And in the new earth, I feel like we're all trying to find our way. We're trying to figure out our navigation system, and you may have been attached to an identity or a version of yourself that really is no longer present in this new world or this new timeline. And so now that I'm really embracing who I have become, I've really been blessed to be able to detach from old identities and old versions of myself that really just no longer serve me. And it has helped me grow so much. In particular, this year, 2024 has been such a game-changing year when it comes to my personal growth. And I've been on my healing journey for so long, honestly. I think since 2016 is when I really started. But ever since like 2016, I've been on this very supernatural healing journey. And I encourage you to do the same. And I think that with this healing journey, it has required a new version of myself, and also a lot of shadow work and just healing and forgiveness, right? And that's something that can only come from within you. And so this year has been such a game changer that I decided that, towards this the fall season, new energy, new season, I was like, you know what? I'm finally ready to go home. Spirit actually called me home. Because y'all know everything I do is spiritual. Like I don't do anything without a spiritual reasoning. And so Spirit said, Gigi, Giselle, it's time to go home. So I decided to head on back to Huntsville. And this was a solo trip. So my husband decided to stay here in Atlanta. And I honestly, like I said, it was spiritual. So I did trek out on a solo trip. And I went for the whole weekend. I actually went up early Saturday. And I spent the whole day at homecoming, fellowshipping with family and friends. And then I just scurried back to Atlanta, which was yesterday. And now I'm back and I'm on this podcast right now to give you guys the inside scoop. So, and fun fact, I actually did not attend the University of, I did not attend Alabama A&M University for undergrad. But let me connect y'all to the roots, okay? So my father actually was a Nigerian immigrant. So he came to America, He came to America to go to the Alabama A&M University. So he attended graduate school there. got his earned his master's degree from A&M University, Alabama A&M University. And then like he met my mom and bada bing, bada boom, here I am. And so I actually attended the University of Alabama, but I'm from Huntsville. And so if you're from Huntsville and you already know, like A&M homecoming is really like a true local celebration too. It's like the city is set on fire. You know, the locals come out, people from all across the South come out, families come out. Of course, you have the students that come out, but then you got everybody who went to A&M. And so the alumni network of A&M and actually most HBCUs is so strong and powerful. And so, you know, it just really lights the city up. So it was just the perfect time to go home and be able to actually fellowship because I knew everybody was gonna be outside because it's A&M homecoming. Okay. And honestly, y'all, it really felt like the Super Bowl for Huntsville, right? That's what it felt like. It just felt like Super Bowl for the city. And the energy felt so great. And the last time I went to homecoming, no cap, it was like 2011 or 2010, 2011. So it was a long time ago, like right after I had finished undergrad. So I went to the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. But like I said, my father went to A&M, got his master's degree. My uncle played football for Alabama A&M University, and he was actually a part of the team where they won the SWAC. One of the first years that they actually won the SWAC championship. My uncle Craig, what up, Craig? And God rest his soul. But he was actually on the football team. So he played at Alabama A&M. My sister went to A&M. Like I said, my daddy went to A&M, and all of my friends, most of my friends went to A&M after we finished high school. Like I said, because it's local, like everybody go to A&M. But for me, I knew that I was being called to integrate. And I'm going to use that word because that is the word of the day. It was integrate. So my spirit guides, because I'm very tuned in with my spirit self. So around the time where I was headed off to college, there were so many HBCUs I was looking at because I was like, I don't want to stay home. So I didn't want to go to A&M, but that was the only reason. But I was like, I got it. I don't want to stay in Huntsville. I have to continue forward. But then spirit told me that you need to go integrate. You need to go to Alabama to show them who we are. Okay. And I did just that. So I earned my bachelor's degree from University of Alabama. So I moved to Tuscaloosa. But after college, I actually went back to A&M and I enrolled in graduate school at A&M as well. And so I started my first, I think it was like my first semester at A&M in the MBA program. Great program, great fellowship. One of my good friends from childhood, she was also a student at the time too. So it felt so good to be back in my hometown with my people. And this was like right after I finished undergrad. Mind you, I went to school in Tuscaloosa. But then that first year, I was like, Spirit said, Gigi, this is a pit stop, but God is calling you to another location. Your destiny, your purpose is in another location, and you're just gonna have to be obedient and trust me on this, right? So Spirit was saying. So I kid you not, y'all. After that first semester, I went to A&M for the MBA program. I switched programs. I was like, I really don't want to get my MBA. I want to study something else. And so I did the due diligence. I did the work. I applied for different schools. I applied for school in Cali, in New York, and in Atlanta because I knew I was going to have to be in a metro city for the work that I was really trying to do. So I did just that. Bada bing, bada boom. I got accepted to school in Atlanta. And so then I moved on over to ATL, baby. Okay. And that was in 2011. And so I enrolled at Kennesaw State University. And then the rest, honestly, is herstory, right? Here I am. So I gave you guys the backstory to show you how I am tied to A&M through my being. And it was just so cool, no cap. When I went back to Huntsville this go round, it was like nothing I had ever experienced before, mainly because I have become who I set out to be when I actually left my hometown. Y'all remember like on The Wiz when Dorothy went to Oz, right? She found herself in the middle of Oz with the Wiz, and the Scarecrow, the Lion, the Tin Man, right? She made all these characters, and she was so far away from home, but she was finding her own path. That is where I am nowadays, except I'm not lost, right? I found myself by leaving my hometown. And so I was able to really become who I want to be, which is a never ending story, right? We're always evolving. But my spirit was so happy to call back home. And it felt so good to be back in Huntsville and see my people. So shout out to Huntsville. Hello. Shout out to Alabama A&M University. Also, hello. Go Bulldogs. And I just had such a great time. And like the story unfolded for me when I was able to go back and see things with a different mindset, with a different headspace. First of all, I have healed, right? Because I told y'all I was on a healing journey. I did the work to heal myself back to who I needed to be in this moment, really to show up as my highest version of myself. And y'all, it's so beautiful. And if you're on that journey for yourself, if you're trying to connect the dots and get back to who you were, I'm just encouraging you to keep going. Keep going. Do not stop. Keep going, because on the other side of your journey is the glory. And the glory is coming from the Most High. But if you quit, or if you doubt yourself, or if you go back prematurely, like, it's just so many things that you can do to get in your own way, right? But I'm just speaking from experience. I did not do that. I actually endured. And when I say coming home, I felt like I was just being hugged, right? Like, welcome back, girl. And not only literally, but like not only from the city, I feel like I got a kiss from the city, but also just seeing so many of the people that I grew up with, the people that I would call home, right? And so I'm going to jump into a quick little video to give y'all a little rundown and just kind of give you a play-by-play of how the weekend went. So like I said, we were hanging out and it was just so much fun. Now, this is actually my fit. First of all, let's get into the fit, honey. Everybody is all about fashion at HBCUs. And if you're not familiar with, okay, rewind. HBCU, for awareness, stands for Historically Black College and University. There are many of them across the United States. Fun fact, you can fact check me, but I already did the work. You know what I'm saying? So trust me on this. Alabama has the most number of HBCUs in the United States, right? So it's only, and I'm talking Tuskegee University, Alabama State University, Alabama A&M University, Oakwood University, which is also in Huntsville, Stillman College, Miles College. There are so many HBCUs in Alabama. And for my own logical explanation is because Alabama is a very open, wide land, right? There's so much land in the state that you can actually build up institutions. You can build up education, like educational institutions, to really breed new people and breed up like different disciplines. So engineering, A&M, agriculture, and mechanics. I just said engineering, but dance, theater, whatever you want to call it. But there's enough actual space in Alabama to accommodate for that type of environment so that people can come to the South, come to Alabama in particular, and thrive, right? So that's a fun fact. So HBCU homecoming, baby, it's all about the drip. Like, what are you going to wear, honey? That's the most important part of the event. What are you going to wear and who won the battle of the bands, right? You got the bands, you got the dance line. And honestly, because I'm from Huntsville, believe it or not, it always felt like, I feel like all the schools I attended, my educational system, educational system, it's kind of ran the culture of our schools in Huntsville when I was growing up. It really felt like HBCU vibes, right? We were a strong community. everyone knew each other. It was just a lot of love and community. So I really just so glad I'm from Huntsville. Y'all know the Space and Rocket Center is there. So we went to space camp. Like, it was just so much culture, because we had so many influences of different universities there. And so some of our teachers growing up in high school and stuff, they went to A&M. And there's this one lady who was our dance team coach. And I cheered and danced in undergrad. I cheered and danced growing up. I've been on the cheerleading team ever since I was in third grade, right? And so a lot of my sisters from the cheerleading team, from the dance team, we all just was close because we were on a team together, which is a whole different type of sisterhood. But a lot of our mentors went to A&M. And so A&M just has a huge influence on the entire city of Huntsville. And so that's why, even if you didn't go to A&M, if you're from Huntsville, you're most likely attached or tied to, not attached, but you're most likely tied to the A&M culture, and hence why everyone comes out for homecoming. And so, the fit's gotta give. Okay. So I decided to go with just a nice white shirt, to pay homage to A&M school colors, which is maroon and white. And then I did the New York hat with the scarf look. Y'all, it came out so good. I was inspired by Rihanna. Okay. I think she was the first one I saw do that, but this was very trendy in the summer. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, baby, I'm finna give a trend, because I also am a trendsetter. Okay. And I decided to give that look. So I went with that look. And I also had this cute belt that had a flap for my phone and for my lip gloss and my debit card. And I had on some nice New Balances that I had just got, because, baby, you need to have some walking shoes. Okay. Hokas. I love Hokas too. But I want to give a little bit of fashion. So I got these New Balances, because when I say y'all, we walked the entire day. And I've been counting my steps lately. And so, baby, we got 14,000 steps in on Saturday. We sure did. And so that is my first look of the day. And I actually kept that look because we were just in a flow. But that was my, like I said, I'm showing y'all my TikTok because I just want to give y'all a rundown. So that was the look. And I also, this is my girl. So shout out to Chrissy J. She was actually on the podcast. I think she's episode 1, 2. I think she's episode 3. So if you haven't seen her episode, go back and watch it. But me and Chrissy go way back. Okay. I met her when she came to A&M. So like I said, although I went to UA, that's what we call it, UA, I used to be in Huntsville at A&M all the time because I would go see my family. So I made so many friends during my freshman year at Bama at A&M. So I was all over the state. Okay, baby. We was all close. And so I met Chrissy, and from the first time we met, I was like, this is my girl. This is my girl. She's from St. Louis. And she, like I said, she's already been on the podcast. So go check out her episode. This is my girl right here. Okay. So me and her we hit the town. We was painting the town red, painting the town green, painting the town whatever color we wanted to paint it. And we had such a good time. So me and her were tag team. We were clicked up this weekend. It was just me and Chrissy, and we just kind of was floating. But like I said, I met her when she was a freshman at A&M because we used to come back and forth all the time. And so, that's my girl. And then she actually moved to Atlanta, and we clicked up here in Atlanta. So we've been friends on both timelines. So I told y'all how I made it to Atlanta. I was cool with her when I first, we both was freshman year of college. And then fast forward to moving to Atlanta, we met up again. So it's just destiny. And fun fact, she was also Miss Freshman of her freshman class. So of course, baby girl was giving previous queen, right? She was on the court. So that was so cute. But that's my girl, Chrissy. And like I said, we had the look. So of course, this is on the yard. These are some of the Greek organizations. They just have a time. They do their work. They give the show, and it was just so much fun to watch. And that's my girl Lil. Me and Lil also grew up together. So again, she's from Huntsville. We knew each other since forever. And again, here's the culture. You see how much culture it is? And like it was like her and her sisters and me and my sisters. We all was on dance team together. Me and Lillian used to cheer together. And her sister actually went on to be on the dance team at A&M. And, like I said, me and her sister was on dance team together in high school. But then they went to A&M, be on dance team. And Lil, she joined the sorority, and so I went up to her when she came out as I think her probate. We all came from Tuscaloosa to go support her. So like I said, it was always a close-knit community. So it was so good to see her. So that's my girl Lil, Chrissy. So again, I don't take no pictures with no randos. Okay. Now, everybody who's pictured here on this episode, I know them in real life. So I'm just giving y'all a little culture, right? Because I think now more than ever, we have to really archive our culture, because y'all know how they do. They'll act like it never existed if we don't document it. So please don't forget to take pictures, okay? And so I'm just sharing with you a little bit about the Huntsville A&M culture and ties, and my weekend recap at A&M Homecoming 2024, which was this past weekend. All right, so moving right along. Again, we were just vibing out. Now, all the girls in this picture, everybody in this picture right here, we all cheered together at some point. And y'all see how much love that was. Like, we were able to like come right like it was nothing. But again, cheer and dance, it really felt like a sisterhood. Now, this baby girl was just giving. Let me rewind. Honey, I was just feeling this girl because she was in the middle of the yard. She was giving Renaissance, baby. Like, it was her show. I had to film because she was looking cute. Nightlife, got the paw print. They are the Bulldogs. And I actually was hanging out with my mom, went to my mom's house, really loving on her. That's my sister. And this is actually Black. So the Black Lounge is actually owned by one of the cast members, or the family casted members on Love and Marriage Huntsville. So that's Marceau and Tisha, the Scotts. That's their club, right? And so Black is actually located near my folks' home, my family house. And so it was literally like right around the corner. And so we went to Black. It was free to get in, free to park. And y'all don't know how much that felt so good just to be able to walk in somewhere. No extras. There were no extras. Y'all know I live in Atlanta. So it's always some extras here. Okay. Like, you go to a metro city, you're going to be paying, and you're going to be paying some more and paying some more. And so it felt so good to not have to worry about all them extras. And we just walked right in and had a good time. So this is Black, and they had this outdoor area because it is a cigar bar. So I don't really smoke none of that stuff, but I know cigars are very, for the people who are into them. I know it's a whole culture. Again, you hear that word. But that's not my thing. So I was so glad they had an outdoor area so that, we don't have to smell like smoke or, be around it too much. So that's a good look for them to have this outdoor area. And like I said, so that was my little video recap, but this only was a smidge of what was taking place, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, I was being so present that I really I was not even thinking content. And that was also something that was fun because I wasn't even thinking about creating content. I was creating an experience in real time. And I had so much fun. And what are some key takeaways? Number one, your authenticity is everything. When I went back home, I realized how I have been so true to myself this whole time. But it did get hard when I went to college because I ain't gonna lie, it was a little culture shock for me. Because like I said, Huntsville, like, we all cool, like it's a good vibe, like it's all good vibes and Black excellence everywhere, right? Even as children, we weren't treated any differently because of the color of our skin. Huntsville's a very progressive city. And so when you think Alabama, I know you might have your reservations, but Huntsville is very thriving and uplifting. It's just different. And it feels like the Valley. And so when I went to undergrad for myself, I was just like, ooh, it was just it was a culture shock, and it took a lot of adjusting for me. But I did not lose sight of my truth. I kept myself true. I stayed true to me. And by the grace of God and my support system and my community, I was able to continue on my journey, which led me here to Atlanta. And I'm just so glad I did decide to take my route because, what's for you is for you. So number one, keep it a buck, okay? Keep it a buck. Be real. Be true to you. And I'm gonna take this off the stage because that's what I got for that. So number one, my key takeaways from A&M Homecoming 2024 and story time with me. Number one, stay authentic and true to you. I know it can get scary out here in the world, especially if you leave your hometown, but your authenticity is the key that'll unlock your destiny. That's the key that it takes to unlock your destiny timeline, right? Number one, stay authentic. Number two, remember the times. Do you remember when fell in love? I say remember the times because in the times we living in now, it feels so good to have some good memories of community, culture, true friendship, adventure, and just really remembering the times when you were able to like be young and innocent and just not know what was going to happen next, but also just loving the experience of it all. And going back really made me remember the times. And those are some of the key parts of my story that helped me become who I am today. Like I said, my dad went to Alabama A&M. My uncle played at A&M. I went to the University of Alabama, but I'm also connected across the state. And I saw so many people that I didn't even know in real life, but we're connected online because we follow each other, or they've asked me about career advice or, different master's programs to be a part of. So, and I actually saw one of my Riptide friends. So Riptide was a dance team I was a part of at Alabama in college, Roll Tide, Alabama. And y'all, I was dancing. I was just doing me like, and then she gonna walk up on me with a dance. I was like, hold up now, girl. And so we just had a whole moment, and it was so much fun. And y'all, why did she tell me that she had the actual footage from when we danced on BET's 106 in Park? Yes, y'all. So I will be sharing that footage as soon as I get my hands on it. But I always talk about that time. I'll be like, I remember the time I danced on 106 Park with my dance team in college, but I did not have the footage, nor is it on YouTube. It's not on YouTube. I ran into one of my dance sisters, and she actually has the footage, and she's going to share it with me, and hopefully I can share it with y'all. And so stuff like that makes you remember the times, like remember who you are. And so that was beautiful. So number one, authenticity is key. Number two, remember the times. And number three, this is a big one. You can write your story as you see fit. Okay. Rewrite your story whenever you get ready. If you don't like the page that you're on, turn the page and start writing another story and live that out. The story time, like I'm doing today, right now, the story is for you, and stories are so important. There's a story that's over 2,000 years old, and we're still holding on to that story today. And you can take a wild guess what that story is, but stories are revolutionary. So rewrite and write your own story. If you don't like the pen and paper, you don't like what you write, and just start a new one. But you can rewrite your story. And when I went back home this weekend, I realized that I had already started writing a brand new story. And when I went back home, I was like, oh, these are pieces of the story that I need to bring together, right? About my father attending Alabama A&M, going to see my mother and spending time with her, who is now the matriarch of my family. She was able to pour into my good friend Chrissy, because we was talking about the boys and their dating life and things like that. And my mama, she knows the game. And it was so nice to see her in her light of divine feminine energy to impart her wisdom on my friend, right? So each one teach one. And also just being able to see things clearly. Once you heal, you can see clearly. A lot of times when people are upset and mad and angry and bitter and all that, it is just unhealed wounds. And when you don't heal, you carry that baggage on you and with you wherever you go. I don't care if you're in New York City. I don't care if you hit a million and you just a millionaire and all this other stuff. All your dreams could come true. But if you don't heal, you cannot actually accept and receive the love that comes with the healing journey, because you learn how to love yourself in a way that no one else could love you. And so when I went home for homecoming, it was an act of love. to myself. And it felt so good. So rewrite your story. We have been, especially if you're African American or a Black American, however you want to call it, if you Black, okay, and you live in America, y'all know the story they try to tell us about us. It's just so daunting, and woe is me, and they love to use our trauma to sell. They use it, they selling it back to us like we didn't endure it. But guess what? What happens if you just rewrite the story and say, hey, I come from Black excellence. I come from a very strong knit community full of people who are all very cultured, who are all stars, right? Who have talents and gifts, and they're creative, and they want to come and impart their creativity onto the planet. That's what I say about where I'm from. It's like the Emerald City, but it's in a valley. And so you got to go up the mountain to even get there. But if you're afraid to go up the mountain, you can't even see the glory on the other side. So be okay with writing your story, and know that you are always writing your story, even during the peaks and valleys. When we get to a point where it gets kind of hard and tough, you're still writing the story. It's just the part where it get a little spicy. You know what I'm saying? So authenticity is key. Remember the times and rewrite your story and write your story. You are always holding the pen and paper. Even in this present moment, you have the power to create a beautiful life for yourself, but you have to have authority and get your mind right and really focus on the good of the life that you're living, because it's good. If you're watching this video, it's good, okay? And like I said, y'all, I am still recovering from such a powerful weekend of fellowship and love. And with that being said, I want to thank you again for being here. That is the end of today's episode, Storytime with Goddess Giselle. And I will be doing these every now and then, you know what I'm saying, kind of switch it up. But I really appreciate you guys being here. And again, if you're new here, welcome to the Goddess Giselle podcast. I'm Goddess Giselle, and I create this space for women to share their stories about making an impact in the community. And today was a story time with me, and I talked about how I've made an impact in my own community of Huntsville, Alabama, because I was able to go back home over a decade later and still feel so much love and support because of how much I poured into my community while I was there. So keep soaring, keep inspiring, keep being your authentic self, and know that everything happens for a reason. And fun fact, I moved from Huntsville 18 years ago, and I never moved back. So through the upbringing, because of my strong roots, I've been able to just be blessed in this world that we're in, and been able to create my own version of reality because of the strong community that I come from. And you can too. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. It's your girl, Goddess Giselle, episode 7. And until next time, bye.